Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. This is the second video in our video series on SUMO for beginners. So we're going to start with how you can use the codes in order to generate the simulation. Then if we fully understand this, so we can now move to the net edit, so that maybe if you encounter a problem in the net edit, you will know where to make the amends. So let me just start by refreshing our memory on the that is the locate, or maybe describing the location of an item, maybe based on x and y uh, coordinates. You remember our graph, which is the x and y graph, which has vertical and horizontal lines. Then we have the y-axis and the x-axis. The horizontal lines is the x-axis, then the vertical lines are the are the y-axis. So where the vertical and the horizontal intersect, we normally call it as the origin of the graph. So and anything vertical above it is positive, anything vertical below it is positive, anything vertical towards the right, anything moving towards the right is positive x, anything moving towards the left is what? Negative x. So that means if you have a point vertically upward, so that point must have a positive y. If you have a point vertically downward, that point must have a negative y. So like for instance, maybe let's assume I have this particular line. So if I just want to state uh, uh, the x and y position of this particular line with regard to its origin and destination, or the start and end. So here you can see it started at a positive y of 100. So that means under my y, so this one will now be what? 100. And it terminates as what? It is a straight line, so it's continuous at 100. Then the x-axis is terminated, the x value is 100. So that means my x will now be what? 100. What of if I now want to know the origin of the coordinate of this origin? So let it just touch this. I want to know the coordinate of the origin and also the position of the of the end. So here under this one, the y is what? Is 100, but the x is what? 0. So that means for the first one, the origin, it will have an x of 0, then a what? Y of 100. So under this, which is the end of it, so it has a what? It has a y of 100 and x of what? 100. So this one, it will going to be what? 100 and what? And 100. So you remember to start with the what? With the x first before the y. You need this because you in sumo you can either describe the position of something either with its y and x position, or you can use the northern and eastern, that is the longitude and the latitude, to state the exact position of something. Like for instance here, let's say this is the network that we want to build in this particular example. So this is the start of the network, which is what? Which is minus 500 and 0. So that means this is the x-axis, just like this one. So this shows that this is towards the left side of the of the graph, because we say everything to this side is what? Negative. So this is minus 500 and y is what? 0. So as you are coming, the negative sign is reducing. It's just like you are coming from here towards the origin. You see the negative sign will now be what? Reducing. So here, this one will be minus 250 and 0. So that means the distance of the x is 250, the y is 0, because we are at the level of the origin, just like this is 0. So as you are going towards this, the y won't be changed, only the x will be changing. as you are coming along this line, if you are coming along this line, the what the x will be 0, only the y will be changing. But look at this one, the x, we kept on moving up to this point, which is exactly minus 150. But here the y is what is 200. Since the y is 200, so that means it has to uh, like maybe this is 100, so it's like you are drawing a line up to where it meets with 200. So it has to change the direction. So that means you started from the 0y, then you end up at what 20y. So you need to understand this because this is the basic. So from here, then we can now proceed. So normally we use the XML language in order to store and transfer data to be used in our Python workflow. So, and for you to do that, there are three basic signs that you're supposed to understand. One is that maybe before you start, if you want to open a tag, so you start by opening a word less than, then the greater than sign. Then you now write whatever you want to write in it. Let's say note. Like for instance now, what we mean by node is what? Node is just a junction. So let's say assume we are at this particular node. So let's assume I want to call this node N1. So I want to call, let's say I want to call this node. So let me just take this one. Let me just take it. So let me say I want to call this node N1. Let's say N1. So N1. Let me take it here. So here I will now write my node. Then I will open this. Let me just take this to the other side. So now I will watch. Before you write anything, make sure you start with the less than sign. So now I can now say maybe my node ID. So if I want to equate something with something, so you see this is my this node is called, let's say N1, and now I want to equate my node ID to this. So that means I will have to use equality sign, then use the double quotation, then I can now write my N1, then I will now close it. Then if I'm done, if this is the only command that I want, so I will now press this, so press this, and I will use the greater sign. But I will not stop here. I have to come down because I need to close the tag to tell it that the tag has been closed. So I will now write this, then not, then I will write this. So basically, these are the this thing that you're supposed to know. First is before you start anything, use the less than sign, then you write whatever this thing to open a tag. That is to start a tag. If you want to write attribute of the tag, always start with what? With opening. So when you write something, if you want to equate something with something, then you have to use the equality sign. And that thing that you are equating has to be inside a word, double quotation. Then you now place a word. It is, then you now close it. So make sure if you are done with the tag, then you have to close it in this particular way to show that the tag has ended. So assalamu alaikum. In the next video, we're going to see how we can simulate this. Thank you.